For our entire lives, we have operated on this very simple fundamental rule of reality, which is basically seeing is believing.
Right. It's human nature.
Exactly. Like if you see a photograph of something, it happened. If you see a video of someone doing something, well, they did it.
You don't even question it.
You really don't.
Yeah.
Our brains are completely biologically wired to trust our eyes. But today, we are venturing into a territory where that fundamental rule is it's being completely shattered.
Shattered and weaponized.
Yes, weaponized against everyday people. So, welcome to this deep dive. I am so glad you are joining us today because we are looking at something that feels, honestly, like science fiction.
But it's very real.
It is happening right now on our phones, in our homes. We are talking about the reality of deepfake blackmail.
Which is a heavy topic, I know.
It is. But think of this session as, your essential survival guide for the modern digital world. Our mission for you today is incredibly clear.
We want to break this all down for you.
Right. We are going to demystify exactly how cybercriminals are taking everyday, seemingly harmless social media photos and turning them into weapons of extortion.
Using the notes from a document literally titled Day 42 Deepfake Blackmail, which really lays it all out.
Yeah, that document is our core source today. We are going to dig into the actual mechanics behind these deepfakes, like how they actually work.
The nuts and bolts of it.
Exactly. And most importantly, we are going to extract actionable takeaways so that you can navigate your digital life safely. We want to equip you without leaving you, paralyzed by fear or info overload.
And I think it's important to say it is completely understandable if just hearing the phrase deepfake blackmail immediately spikes your anxiety.
Oh, for sure. It's terrifying.
It's a deeply unsettling concept.
Yeah.
But the core reality we need to establish right from the start is that deepfakes are absolutely no longer just a celebrity problem.
Right, because that's how it started, isn't it?
Yeah, for a few years, we only really saw this technology used in high-profile cases. You'd see manipulated videos of politicians to make them say things they never said, or inserting famous actors into movies or inappropriate videos.
Right, where you needed a ton of data and money to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That era, where the barrier to entry was high, is completely over. In today's landscape, anyone with a public profile, anyone who has ever put a picture of their face on the internet is a potential target.
Wow. Anyone.
Anyone. Validating that anxiety you might be feeling right now is the very first step to taking back control of your digital security.
It really is about moving from a state of panic to a state of preparedness. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's transition from the broad, scary idea of cybercrime floating around in the ether to the specific mechanical reality of how these attacks are actually executed.
Step by step.
Yeah. We need to start by defining the core mechanism driving all of this, which the source calls face morphing.
Right, face morphing.
When we talk about face morphing in this context, we are talking about criminals using AI tools to extract a person's face from a completely innocent source.
Like a normal, everyday photo.
Exactly, like your WhatsApp display picture, your Facebook profile, or just a quick Instagram story. And they take that and seamlessly blend it onto an entirely different image or video.
And I think we need to be clear that the destinations for those blended faces are almost exclusively malicious.
Right, they aren't doing this for fun.
No, cybercriminals are pasting the victim's face onto fake adult images, highly inappropriate and damaging videos, or even using them to fabricate entirely fake identity cards and scam profiles.
It's just wild.
They are effectively hijacking your visual identity to construct a false reality that serves their agenda.
Let's walk through a very specific, chilling example of how this plays out, step by step, just really illustrate the mechanics here.
Good idea.
Imagine a perfectly normal Tuesday evening. A young woman takes a quick everyday selfie in her living room and posts it to her public Instagram account.
Just a standard post.
Yeah, she's just sharing an outfit or maybe a new haircut. That is step one for the criminal. They simply browse public hashtags or locations, find her profile, and download that totally innocent selfie right to their phone.
Which takes 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Step two, the criminal takes that image and feeds it into an artificial intelligence tool, instructing it to place her face onto another person's body in a deeply compromising, explicit image or video.
And the AI does this in seconds, too.
Right. Step three is where the trap snaps shut. The criminal sends that newly fabricated hyper-realistic image directly back to the young woman via a direct message or maybe an unknown messaging number.
Along with a very blunt threat.
Exactly. Something like, pay this amount of money immediately, or we will share this with your family, your friends, and your employer.
It is a devastatingly simple and ruthless sequence of events. Locate the photo, generate the fake, execute the threat.
It's horrible.
It is. The victim is suddenly thrown into an absolute panic. And the final image or video looks so incredibly, viscerally real that the victim immediately realizes that anyone else who sees it, their parents, their colleagues, their friends, will not be able to identify it as a fake.
The potential for social ruin feels instant and just total.
Exactly.
So it's essentially a malicious, highly advanced form of digital identity theft. But wait, I want to clarify something about the mechanics here.
Sure, go ahead.
They aren't even building a fake person from scratch, right? Like, they aren't generating a new human.
No, not at all.
They're just hijacking our digital mannequins, basically. They're using our real existing faces to pilot completely fabricated situations.
That's exactly what they're doing.
It's like a digital puppeteer. Our photo provides the wood and the paint, but the scammer's AI provides the strings that make us dance without our permission in scenarios we would never, ever consent to.
That is a phenomenal way to understand it, a digital puppeteer. And what's fascinating, and honestly deeply disturbing, is the sheer psychological cruelty of this specific crime.
Yeah, it's so personal.
It is. If we look at traditional identity theft, the damage is primarily financial and bureaucratic.
Yeah.
Someone steals your credit card number, they buy an expensive television, maybe they ruin your credit score for a few months.
Right, which sucks, but it's just money.
Exactly. It is immensely frustrating. It violates your privacy, but it doesn't violate your core sense of self. It doesn't assault your dignity.
That's a great point.
This deepfake crime is fundamentally different. It is not just about the resulting image being fake. It is about the profound violation of your personal autonomy.
Right.
The criminal is relying entirely on the victim's immediate visceral shock. Imagine the psychological blow of opening your phone and seeing yourself, your own face, your own eyes engaging in a deeply compromising or illegal act.
I would lose my mind. I'd be terrified.
It completely short-circuits the victim's logic, intellectually, that you didn't do it. But the visual evidence presented to you is so strong, so convincing, that your brain momentarily panics, trying to reconcile the lie with reality.
So that panic is the actual weapon.
Precisely.
The deepfake is just the delivery mechanism. They are manufacturing a catastrophic emotional crisis out of thin air to force you to act irrationally.
That is exactly their goal.
Which naturally leads us to a terrifying question. How are they doing this so easily? The mechanics of this mirage rely on tools, and we really need to explore the terrifying accessibility of the arsenal these criminals now have at their fingertips.
The technology has moved so fast.
It really has. If we look at the capabilities of modern AI photo editing Misuse from the source notes, it reads like a dystopian nightmare.
The list of capabilities is staggering, especially when you consider how casually and cheaply these tools are deployed today.
Yeah, walk us through what these tools can actually do now.
Well, modern AI tools can digitally remove clothes from an entirely innocent, fully clothed photograph with horrifying realism.
Ugh, that's awful.
They can change facial expressions entirely, turning a neutral look into a smile or a look of terror. They can generate entirely fake, fluid video starting from just one single static image.
One image.
Just one. They can clone a person's voice from a short audio clip so that it sounds exactly like them speaking words they never ever said.
Wow.
They can edit backgrounds so seamlessly that it looks like you were in a hotel room or a location you have never visited in your life. And they can even generate entirely fake chats or screen recordings that look absolutely identical to a real WhatsApp or text message conversation on your phone.
Okay, wait. I want to pause on one specific thing you just mentioned, creating fake emotions.
Yeah, the expression changing.
That is such an insidious layered detail. I mean, changing a background is one thing, putting me in front of the Eiffel Tower when I'm in my kitchen, but altering the emotion on someone's face...
It changes the whole context.
It really does.
Yeah.
That means the fabrication is no longer just a static cut and paste image. They are creating an entire complex fake narrative. If they can alter a video to make you look incredibly guilty or make you look like you are actively enjoying something terrible or make you look terrified and complicit, that sells the lie on a much deeper psychological level to anyone who watches that video.
It absolutely does.
It's not just faking where you are. It's faking who you are in that moment.
Precisely. It manipulates the empathy and the base instincts of the viewer. When humans see an emotional expression, we instinctively react to it. If someone looks guilty, we assume guilt.
Right.
The AI bridges that gap perfectly. And the most alarming part of this entire reality is the accessibility. We have seen a massive paradigm-shifting change in technology over just the last 2 or 3 years.
It's moving at light speed.
It is. Many of these features, the face swapping, the clothing removal, the voice cloning, they're now available on entirely free mobile apps and websites.
Free apps? Are you serious?
Totally free. What used to require a multi-million-dollar Hollywood studio, a dedicated team of highly trained visual effects artists, and hours or even days of computational rendering time, can now be done on a standard smartphone
By anybody.
by an absolute amateur in minutes for free.
Which completely opens the floodgates for who can become a criminal. I mean,
Right.
you don't need to be some mastermind hacker sitting in a dark basement room with green code scrolling down multiple monitors anymore.
Not at all.
You literally just need a smartphone, an internet connection, and bad intentions.
That's the scariest part.
And because the barrier to entry is practically zero, the malicious uses cybercriminals apply these tools to cover a grim, expansive spectrum. Our document lists revenge, targeted harassment, financial extortion, fabricating fake relationships, completely destroying reputations, and inflicting mass social humiliation.
And understanding that broad spectrum is crucial. The motivation for this crime isn't always financial extortion.
Right, that's a good point. We usually think of scammers as just wanting a payout.
We do.
Mhm.
But sometimes it is purely about inflicting maximum social and emotional damage. Think about a disgruntled ex-partner, a deeply jealous colleague, or even just a malicious online troll.
Right, just someone with a vendetta.
Exactly. They can use these free, instantly accessible tools to completely destroy a person's reputation within their community or workplace without ever asking for a single dollar. The incredible accessibility of the weapon has completely democratized the ability to cause catastrophic personal harm to another human being.
It is deeply, deeply unsettling to realize how unprotected we are from just someone with a grudge and a smartphone.
We are very exposed.
So if the tools are free and they are incredibly easy to access and operate, what is the raw material fueling them? Like, where are these people getting the highly detailed faces to feed into these nightmare machines?
Well, this is where it gets a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, this brings us to a really uncomfortable realization about our own digital behavior. We, as everyday users, are the unwitting accomplices in our own targeting. We are unknowingly supplying the ammunition.
This is a critical point that demands our attention. Scammers almost never have to hack into a secure cloud server or break through your phone's encryption to steal your private photos.
They don't even need to try that hard.
They don't need to. Most victims unknowingly provide the material to the scammers themselves. The criminals are just walking along and picking up the high-resolution images we leave lying around in plain sight across the internet.
The list of common sources they harvest from is truly eye-opening because it covers almost every digital platform we use daily.
Let's hear the list.
We are talking about Instagram selfies, public Facebook albums, Snapchat stories, LinkedIn profile photos, WhatsApp display pictures, what we often just call DPs, public reels, TikTok videos, and even those massive college or corporate group photos.
It is the absolute banality of that list that is so striking. Notice the surprising mundane items included there.
Yeah, the LinkedIn one really got me.
It is a huge misconception that only people posting provocative or highly stylized selfies are targeted. Scammers are routinely pulling standard passport-style photos, conservative wedding photos, and sweaty gym selfies.
A passport photo.
Yes. They will happily pull a single, grainy face out of a crowded 50-person college graduation group photo.
That part absolutely blows my mind. A passport photo. A crowded group photo where you are standing in the back row. I mean, why on earth would they use those? They don't seem useful for creating a compromising video at all.
They are useful because to an artificial intelligence tool, context does not exist.
Ah, okay.
A face is just raw data. It is a cluster of pixels that can be used to mathematically map the geometry of a human identity. The algorithm does not care if you're wearing a tuxedo, a graduation gown, or gym clothes.
It just sees the face.
Exactly. This highlights a massive, dangerous blind spot in human behavior. We inherently tend to compartmentalize our digital lives based on social context.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we upload a picture and think, oh, this is my LinkedIn photo, it's professional, I'm wearing a suit, I'm smiling politely, it's completely safe.
Right, I've definitely thought that.
Or we look at a group shot and think, this is a photo with 20 friends, I'm just a small face in the back right corner, no one is paying specific attention to me. We apply human social context to the images to assess their safety.
We think we're hiding in plain sight.
Yes, but the AI doesn't see a professional network or a fun group of friends. It just sees topographical data, the distance between your eyes, the shape of your jawline, the width of your nose ready to be extracted, isolated, and manipulated.
It's like we're constantly dropping breadcrumbs of our digital DNA everywhere we go online.
That's exactly what it is.
We are leaving these perfect little high-resolution copies of our physical identities scattered across dozens of different platforms, and we don't realize someone is quietly following right behind us, scooping them up into a bucket to clone
A
us.
bucket of digital DNA.
Yeah. We think setting a WhatsApp profile picture is just, offering a friendly, recognizable wave to our friends and family and our contacts. But to scammer, that profile picture is the exact raw material they need to build a weapon aimed directly at our lives.
And the speed at which they can turn that innocent photo into a weapon is terrifying.
Yeah.
They literally right-click and download a photo from a public account, upload it into one of these free AI tools on their browser, and generate highly damaging, fake content within minutes.
Minutes. That's just, ugh.
The transition from a totally innocent, publicly visible vacation photo to a piece of devastating blackmail material happens faster than you can drink a cup of coffee. The time between acquisition and weaponization is practically zero.
Okay, so they have scooped up our digital DNA and they've fed it into these free apps. But I want to really dig into how this works mechanically.
Let's do it.
Because we've all seen bad Photoshop jobs. For decades, we've known what a fake image looks like. The lighting is wrong, the edges are blurry, the head looks too big for the body.
Right, the classic bad edit.
Yeah, so how do these new AI tools make the resulting deepfakes so incredibly convincing that victims actually look at a video of themselves and panic? Let's look at the anatomy of this deception and explore exactly how these tools are so successfully crossing the uncanny valley.
Well, the reason these deepfakes cross the uncanny valley, that point where a digital recreation goes from looking creepy and fake to indistinguishable from a real human, is because the AI is not just doing a cut-and-paste job.
Right. It's not Photoshop.
No, it is not treating the image like a flat sticker.
Yeah.
The AI conducts a deep, multi-layered mathematical study of the microelements of your face.
Microelements. Like what?
When you feed it a photo, it analyzes the precise face shape, the natural eye movement patterns, the exact undertones of the skin, the unique smile patterns, and if there is audio, the vocal patterns. It is a highly analytical, algorithmic deconstruction of what makes you physically you.
I really need to wrap my head around this. How does a flat 2D photograph like a single JPEG image give an AI enough information to extrapolate 3D movement and video? It seems like it shouldn't be possible to get movement from a still frame.
That is the genius and the danger of machine learning models. The AI isn't just looking at your one photo in a vacuum. These models have been trained on millions, sometimes billions, of hours of video of human faces moving, talking, and expressing emotion.
So it already knows how faces work, generally.
Exactly. So when the AI looks at your flat 2D photo, it essentially drapes your specific facial geometry, your skin tone, your eye shape, over a highly sophisticated 3D wireframe mesh that it already knows how to move.
Oh, wow.
It uses predictive algorithms to guess, with astonishing accuracy, how your specific cheeks would move if you smiled, or how your eyes would narrow if you squinted, based on how millions of similar faces move. It fills in the blanks using a massive database of human behavior.
Here's where it gets really interesting and honestly a bit horrifying. It is learning the behavior of your face.
Yes, behavioral mapping.
It's not just mapping the static distance between your eyes. It is analyzing and predicting your behavioral essence. It's learning how the corners of your mouth turn up, how your brow furrows, how your eyes crinkle when you emote. It's replicating your specific mannerisms.
Exactly. And when you ask why this induces such deep panic in the victim, we have to look at how human psychology and evolutionary biology are hardwired.
Okay, let's look at that.
Victims panic because the face doesn't just look like a static picture of them. It moves like them. The voice sounds real. The video movement appears completely natural and organic.
It tricks the brain.
Our brains have evolved over millions of years to inherently trust our eyes and, more importantly, to instinctively recognize incredibly subtle human micro-expressions. We use these tiny split-second visual cues to determine trust, to assess intent, and to anchor our sense of reality.
Like reading the room.
Yes. When an AI perfectly replicates your specific smile pattern or your natural subtle eye darting, it completely bypasses your conscious logical defenses. Your brain's threat detection system instantly registers the visual input as visceral and true. It hits the primal part of your brain before your higher reasoning can catch up.
So you are sitting there on your couch, staring at a video on your phone, knowing intellectually with 100% certainty that you were never in that room, never took those clothes off, never said those words.
You know it's a lie.
But your brain, your own biological hardware, is screaming at you, that is me, those are my eyes, that is my voice, this is real.
It's a complete short circuit.
The cognitive dissonance must be absolutely overwhelming, almost maddening. And that overwhelming feeling of reality collapsing is exactly the vulnerable state the scammer needs you in to execute their attack.
They need you unbalanced.
So, armed with these hyper-realistic behavioral fakes, what is their actual strategy? How do they deploy these weapons? This transitions us directly into the playbook of fear. What are the actual tactics and red flags we need to watch out for in the wild?
Our document notes that cybercriminals generally rely on 5 distinct, highly effective deepfake blackmail tactics.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is the most direct and common, straightforward money extortion. The scammer sends the deepfake to the victim and follows up with a blunt message, something like, send $300 immediately, or we upload your video to the internet. It is a purely transactional threat.
And the amounts they ask for are usually very specific, calculated numbers, right? Like they don't usually ask for $1 million.
Well, rarely.
They ask for an amount that is painful to lose, but for many people, it might feel like a sum they could desperately scrape together from savings or by borrowing from a friend to just make a nightmare go away instantly. It is priced precisely to be actionable for the panicked victim.
That's right. They want it to be achievable so you actually pay.
What's the second tactic?
The second tactic is threatening family exposure. They will say, if you don't comply, we will send this directly to your parents, your spouse, or your children.
Which is just vile.
It bypasses financial loss entirely and directly leverages the immense power of social shame, cultural pressure, and the fear of destroying familial relationships.
Okay. And the third?
The third tactic is fake relationship scams. This is a much longer, more insidious con. Scammers pretend to be online romantic partners. They build trust over a period of weeks or months, perhaps exchange seemingly innocent photos or video calls, and then later use all that collected media to create deep fakes and brutally blackmail the victim who thought they were in a safe relationship.
Oh my gosh, that one is truly heartbreaking because it weaponizes the victim's own trust, vulnerability, and often loneliness against them before the trap even springs.
It's a long game.
It's a profound emotional betrayal on top of the blackmail.
It is deeply damaging. The fourth tactic relies on invading safe spaces, Telegram or WhatsApp threats. Criminals use unknown numbers, often international, to send the fabricated, edited photos directly to the victim's personal phone.
Why do they do it that way?
This ensures the threat arrives in their most intimate communication spaces, making the victim feel like the scammer is already inside their life, inside their private phone.
That makes sense. It adds to the terror.
And the fifth tactic from our notes is fake video calls.
Okay, I really need to push back on this fifth one, or at least challenge the premise, because it sounds almost impossibly terrifying.
It is terrifying, but it's real.
You're telling me that just answering a fake video call from a stranger is dangerous? I have a hard time believing that a 2-second, grainy, poorly lit WhatsApp video call gives an AI enough data to build a high-resolution, convincing deepfake. Isn't that exaggerating the capabilities of the tech just a little bit?
I know it sounds like an exaggeration, but mathematically and technologically, it is entirely accurate.
Really? Just from answering the phone?
Yes, you don't have to say anything compromising. You don't have to be on the call for a minute. Just by answering the video call and looking at the screen with a confused expression for 3 seconds, you are providing the scammer with dynamic, moving video footage of your face.
Wow.
You are showing the AI how your face reacts to the light coming from your phone screen, how your eyes move when you were trying to figure out who was calling, how your jaw is aligned.
Because you're moving in real time.
Exactly. The scammer simply screen records those few seconds. That brief screen recording provides exponentially more topographical and behavioral data than a single static photo. That short clip becomes the perfect raw material to feed into the AI, which then maps your face onto a completely different, fabricated, explicit video.
That is deeply disturbing. You think you're just politely checking to see if a friend got a new number, or if a delivery driver is trying to reach you, and in those 3 seconds of confusion, you have literally handed them the digital keys to your identity.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture and look at the underlying thread connecting all 5 of these tactics, The financial extortion, the threats of family exposure, the fake relationships, the unknown messaging threats, and the trap of fake video calls, they all rely on one single, massive psychological vulnerability:
What's that?
isolation.
Isolation. Okay, unpack that.
Whether the threat is coming from a faceless, unknown telegram number, or it is the crushing betrayal of a fake online romance, the scammer's ultimate goal is to make the victim feel entirely alone, trapped in a corner, and absolutely terrified of their family and friends finding out.
They want you in a silo.
The scammer desperately needs the victim to believe that they have no allies, that they cannot go to the police, and that paying up or giving in to the demands is their only possible way to survive the situation.
Isolation is the oxygen for this crime. If you cut off the isolation, the crime starts to suffocate. So how do we spot these traps before we are suffocating in them? What are the warning signs?
There are a few clear red flags.
Right. Our source outlines a few. You might be targeted if someone suddenly sends you edited or strange-looking images of yourself out of nowhere. Obviously, that's a massive, glaring red flag.
Definitely.
But you also need to be vigilant if unknown accounts start aggressively messaging you or threatening you, even vaguely. Another critical warning sign: if you or your friends notice fake social media accounts popping up that are using your photos but a different name.
That's a big one. They are scouting.
Yeah, they might be testing the waters, building the scam profile, and gathering an audience before they actually strike with the blackmail. And finally, of course, if AI-generated videos or audio clips suddenly appear online featuring your likeness.
Recognizing those warning signs early is absolutely crucial,
Yeah.
because it is the pivot point where you can shift from being a passive, unaware target to an active, prepared defender.
Right. It's time to play defense.
Which brings us to the most important practical part of our deep dive today. How do we armor ourselves against this?
Exactly. Now that we know the exact mechanics of how the trap is set, how the AI bait is crafted, and what the snare looks like when it tightens, how do we shield ourselves and the vulnerable people in our lives from getting caught? Let's go through the fundamental rules of digital defense.
The very first, and undeniably the most critical rule from the document, is to keep your social accounts private. This cannot be overstated.
It's step one.
You must limit who can view your photos and deliberately avoid having your personal life set to public visibility. You have to actively restrict open access to your digital DNA. If a scammer cannot right-click and save your photo, they move on to an easier target.
Rule number 2 is to avoid uploading too many personal photos in the first place. And we need to be very specific about what kind of photos are considered high-risk material for these AI engines.
Yes, this is important.
You should actively avoid posting clear, high-resolution close-up selfies. You should avoid posting intensely personal or private moments. You should be extremely cautious about posting children's photos and sensitive family content.
Let's delve into why that specific list is so vital. A clear, well-lit close-up selfie is the absolute gold standard for an AI model.
It's what it wants most.
It gives the algorithm exactly what it craves: unobstructed, high-resolution data of your facial geometry without any interfering background noise or strange angles. By limiting close-ups, you starve the AI of high-quality data.
Make them work for it.
Exactly. And the warning against posting children's photos is a harsh, necessary reality check for modern parents. We have a fundamental duty to protect those who cannot protect themselves from the implications of this technology.
Right, because kids don't have a choice.
Children cannot consent to having their digital faces harvested for future manipulation.
Rule 3, accept follower requests carefully. Do not just accept everyone to boost your follower count.
It's just not worth the risk.
Fake accounts often spend weeks quietly collecting your photos before they launch an attack. They are scouting your defenses. Rule 4, be extremely careful during video calls.
Like we just talked about.
Yeah. Never ever trust unknown numbers or strangers online who insist on video chatting immediately. As we just explored in terrifying detail, simply answering a call and looking at your screen for 3 seconds can be enough to become a victim.
It's that fast.
And Rule 5 is an interesting, highly practical one for professionals. Use watermarks for professional photos. This is especially helpful for creators, business owners, or influencers who legitimately need to maintain public profiles for their livelihood.
A watermark is a brilliant defensive tool because it fundamentally disrupts the AI's ability to easily isolate and map the face. A watermark placed across the image adds a layer of complex visual noise.
It breaks the AI's brain a bit.
It really does. It confuses the algorithm, making the photo much harder for automated one-click tools to process seamlessly. The resulting deepfake will often look distorted or carry pieces of the watermark, ruining the illusion.
So it's basically a shield.
It acts as a highly effective technical speed bump that usually makes the scammer abandon your photo and look for someone else's.
But we also need to place a huge emphasis on who is currently most vulnerable in our society. And that focus must be heavily on youth. Teenagers and students are the prime targets for this.
Yes, and this requires serious, immediate attention from communities. Teenagers and college students are major targets for three very specific, interlocking reasons.
What are they?
First, they organically share vastly more photos and selfies than older generations. Second, they heavily utilize public accounts because their social ecosystem equates public visibility with social cachet and popularity.
They want the likes and the followers.
Right. And third, they tend to trust online strangers or friends of friends much more quickly. Their entire world is built around constant visual sharing, which makes them prime, high-volume targets for data harvesting.
And the stakes for teenagers are incredibly, terrifyingly high. The social humiliation tactic we talked about earlier, a fake, explicit video circulating through a high school, can be completely devastating for a student's mental health.
We've seen tragic outcomes from this.
We absolutely must mandate that schools and parents teach rigorous privacy awareness. We have to teach social media safety and specifically the harsh realities of AI misuse. We can't just teach kids how to log onto the internet. We have to teach them how to survive it.
It is entirely about changing the fundamental daily relationship they have with the camera on their phone. We have to shift the culture, which leads perfectly to the golden rule, the overarching safety philosophy we all need to adopt.
Yes, the ultimate, brilliantly simple safety rule from the text is this. Share fewer photos online, period. The less personal visual content you upload to public servers, the safer you stay.
It sounds simple, but it is actually a radical departure from the cultural norm of the last 10 to 15 years.
Oh, totally. We've been trained to overshare.
We've been actively encouraged and psychologically incentivized by these platforms to share every single waking moment, every outfit, every meal, every vacation. Reversing that instinct takes conscious effort.
It's like walking through a crowded, known, dangerous city with your physical wallet visibly taped to your back.
That's a great analogy.
Sure, you might not get robbed today. You might walk through the city 100 times and be fine. But why on earth would you make it so incredibly easy for a pickpocket? You are actively inviting trouble.
You're just waiting for it to happen.
Making your account private and consciously choosing to share fewer photos is simply taking the wallet off your back and putting it securely in your front pocket. It is basic, common sense street smarts finally being applied to the digital world.
That is an excellent grounding way to frame it. Digital street smarts and rigorous prevention are your absolute primary armor against this threat.
And we have to face this dark reality head-on. Prevention is not always 100% effective. What if the worst happens?
Right, the nightmare scenario.
What if you or your child or someone you love does everything right, but a scammer still manages to harvest an old photo, creates a horrifying deep fake, and sends that terrifying blackmail message? We need to talk extensively about crisis management. When the nightmare happens, what is the protocol?
The absolute most important directive from the notes, the bedrock of crisis management in this scenario, is 2 words: never panic.
And never panic.
You must force yourself to pause. You have to remember that most blackmailers rely entirely on your fear to function.
If you take away their ability to induce panic, you fundamentally dismantle their weapon. The adrenaline will be spiking, your heart will be pounding, but you have to act methodically.
You have to follow the steps.
Here are the immediate steps you must take. First, take screenshots of absolutely everything. Every threat, every image, every profile name.
Evidence is key.
Second, save all chat evidence. Do not delete the conversation out of shame. Third, report the account to the platform immediately. Fourth, block the scammer across every single avenue of communication.
Let's break down the underlying psychology of why those specific steps are so crucial, and specifically why what you must not do is even more important.
What should people never do?
You must not send money. You must not share any further personal data, and you must not continue chatting with them to plead your case or negotiate.
No negotiating. Got it.
If we analyze the business model of the scammer, they are operating a high-volume numbers game. They are casting a wide net, looking for the easiest, most compliant targets who will capitulate quickly.
They want a quick payout.
They rely completely on the victim's fear and the victim's desperate willingness to continue engaging in the conversation to beg for mercy. The exact moment you stop chatting, take your evidence and block them, you disrupt their entire operational model.
You become a bad investment for them.
You suddenly become too difficult, too time-consuming to exploit. Starving them of a reaction, starving them of your fear, is the most powerful and effective defense you have.
Because if you pay them, you are not buying silence, you are not buying a deleted file, you are just funding your own future extortion.
Exactly. You mark yourself as a payer.
You are explicitly proving to them that you are a highly profitable paying customer who is terrified enough to hand over cash.
Exactly right. Once you pay, they know you are terrified, they know you care deeply about your reputation, and most importantly, they know you have financial resources. They will come back next week and the week after that. They will never, ever stop until you block them.
It is also vital to know your regional reporting mechanisms. For instance, the source notes that if you are listening in India, the protocol is very clear. You should immediately report the cybercrime on the official National Cybercrime Portal, or you can pick up the phone and immediately call the 1930 Cyber Helpline.
And every region usually has an equivalent.
Right. Having a dedicated official number to call is an incredible lifeline when you are in a state of deep shock and isolation.
And having those resources pre-programmed in your mind right now, knowing before an attack that there is a definitive authority you can contact, helps reinforce that vital first rule: never panic.
It gives you a plan.
You are not alone in this. There are established systems, task forces, and protocols in place globally to handle this specific type of crime. You do not have to fight it by yourself in the dark.
So, what does this all mean for you, listening right now? When the worst-case scenario happens, when the adrenaline is spiking and you see a fake, compromising video of yourself glowing on your phone screen, you need a mental mantra to anchor you.
A short checklist.
The crisis protocol, distilled down to its absolute essence, is this: document, report, block, breathe.
I love that. Document, report, block, breathe.
Document the evidence meticulously with screenshots. Report the scammer to the platform and the authorities. Block them immediately and totally to cut off their oxygen supply. And breathe, because you are in control of your reaction and you are not going to let manufactured panic dictate your actions.
Document, report, block, breathe. It is a highly effective, actionable crisis response plan that everyone should memorize.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today, and we've gone deep into the dark corners of this technology. I want to bring it all back to a final, sobering reality check. We have to accept 3 stark facts about the world we live in today.
Let's summarize them.
Number 1, one single selfie is enough for devastating AI misuse. It doesn't take a massive album of data. It takes a single, clear frame of your face.
Just one.
Number 2, deepfake technology is not plateauing. It is becoming cheaper, faster, and more realistic every single day. And number 3, this is not a distant threat for the rich and famous. Completely normal, everyday people can and will continue to become targets.
The conclusion we must draw from all of this is undeniable. Digital awareness, privacy hygiene, and an understanding of AI capabilities are no longer optional skills for tech enthusiasts.
They're life skills.
They are fundamental, non-negotiable necessities for simply living and surviving in the modern world. It is quite literally as essential as teaching a child to look both ways before they cross a busy street.
Absolutely. And I want to speak directly to you listening to this deep dive right now. I want to genuinely praise you for taking the time to sit with this and understand it.
It's not easy material.
It is a heavy, dark, and uncomfortable topic. It is definitely not always fun to think about the malicious ways technology can be used against us. But just by listening today, by absorbing the deep mechanics of how this deception works, and by internalizing the safety rules and the crisis mantra, you are already vastly more protected than the vast majority of everyday internet users.
You're ahead of the curve.
You have actively taken your digital wallet off your back, and you've put it safely in your front pocket.
You have successfully replaced vulnerability and ignorance with awareness and preparation. And ultimately, that is exactly how we, as a society, combat this type of technological crime.
Awareness is everything.
However, as we wrap up our time together today, this entirely new reality raises a profound, almost philosophical question. And it is a thought I want to leave you with to ponder.
Ooh, what is it?
If we look honestly at the trajectory of this AI technology, if a single, entirely innocent selfie is truly all it takes to fabricate an entire, devastatingly realistic false reality that can ruin a life, we have to ask ourselves about the long-term future of our digital identities.
Right, where is this all going?
As this technology continues to evolve, as it becomes even more seamless and indistinguishable from reality, will the very concept of a public profile picture, eventually become a dangerous relic of the past.
Wow.
In 5 or 10 years, might we look back at the era of freely and casually sharing our faces online as a bizarre, incredibly reckless, and naive phase of human history?
Wow. That is a chilling thought, but a completely valid and necessary one.
Yeah.
Are we currently living in the final twilight days of the public face? Will anonymity become the new luxury?
It just might be.
It is definitely something profound for all of us to mull over the very next time we go to post an update or share a photo. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Stay vigilant, remember the golden rule to share less, and above all, keep your digital footprint secure. See you next time.